welcome back to my Unhealthy Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Marv, and this is part 3 of my ongoing health intervention, whatever we want to call this, with Diana Feinstein from Max Packed Health. Last time we talked about the North Star, the 168-hour audit, and we told you guys that we were going to have a link for that, but then we didn't put the link in the show notes, so we're going to make sure we do that today, and we're going to continue on with our discussion about why the Eat Less, Move More, Try Harder mission always seems to stop us in our tracks. But Diana, welcome back to the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Fabulous. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So, of course, we made sure the first thing that we did is we got the link ready. So that'll go in the show notes so people can do that. Let's, I guess, remind people of what it is. We called it the 168-hour audit, which that's not really the name of it. It's, I saw it on your site as the Capacity and Connection Audit.
That's right.
So tell people what they can expect when they go click on the link.
Yeah. So you fall to the level of your habits 95% of the time, and you rise to the level of your goals 5% of the time. And so we have a 24-hour biological clock. And depending on how you move through your day, right, from the minute that your alarm goes off, I basically ask you a couple of questions of, like, the minute that your eyes open, what is it that you feel in your body? What is how do you feed yourself? How do you move throughout the day? Like on a typical day, not when I'm like really gunning it, not when I'm like, on a log. What does your average day, how do you treat your body, and how does it feel? Now, based on your responses, I actually give you a complete diagnostic of how your lifestyle practices actually manifests in your body's aches and pains, and what you can do about it.
Okay. That's something that you can do in just about 10 minutes. So it's not a whole lot of lifting at the beginning. And start your audit there at the link, Max Packed Health. We'll have the link in the show notes. I'm sorry, I'm already giggling because even when you described it to me earlier, the phrase, how does that make you feel? I'm going to ask you this because I know that you have a little bit of geek in you.
A little bit?
Did you ever watch the show Stargate SG-1?
No, never watched it. No.
Okay, then it's not going to make any sense to you. But to one listener, it might. So there's an episode on the show. And just to give you a very quick rundown, there's a special Air Force base hidden under Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. And it operates this thing called a Stargate where we can go to other planets. Okay? One of the episodes, the lead person, who was played by Richard Dean Anderson, who was MacGyver in that episode. He was also on one of the soaps, General Hospital or whatever. So he and our alien friend Teal'c experience this looping where it's like Groundhog Day for them. They're just the same thing over and over. Every time the loop starts, they're sitting at breakfast. And O'Neill has his spoon full of cereal at his mouth. And one of the other team members is like, how does that make you feel? It's just, that's how the loop starts every single time. And all I remember is Daniel asked that, and O'Neill is like, what's funny is I wasn't listening the first time. So it never gets answered. So I feel like a lot of times where that's what happens in life. People ask all the time, how does that make you feel? And people never really answer because they're not really listening.
That's right.
Either to the person or to their own body, right?
That's right. They're not paying attention. Yeah.
So I wonder how many people, now I started the quiz, I didn't finish it. I'll just give people a little heads up there. And if you were to ask people how they feel in the morning, I wonder how many people can actually answer that, honestly.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So when we under index on the feeling function in our bodies, in our emotions, in our relationships, we miss a lot in life,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of our health habits, they're meant to keep our bodies either going or will lead it into degradation. And so as we get older, our systems, they start to age. And so the way that we treated our bodies in like our 20s and our 30s, mentally, we may think, well, if I want to get back to how I felt in my 20s and 30s, then I should just run the same playbook, right?
Yeah. That doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right? And so the reality is our line of credit has gone down significantly. And if you want to get back into shape, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go big or go home, and I'm gonna exercise, and I'm gonna I have to go to the gym for 2 hours and do all the things. Right? Our bodies can't take it though, because it doesn't have that capacity, it doesn't have that line of credit. And so for a lot of people that come, to my door, people are normally like around in their 50s. And what I have them shift towards is, well, how do you shift the habits within the margins of your life? Just 30 seconds at a time, 90 seconds at a time, 10 minutes at a time, max. And so you're going through the same velocity, but you're changing the vector at which how you're positioning yourself to end the day, right? And so a lot of the Max Pack Health capacity audit is like, well, at this point of decision, how are you choosing? And how does that make you feel? And then that puts you on a very specific trajectory for the next 24 hours. And because we fall to the level of our habits 95% of the time, it happens over and over and over again, which is why trying to hack our way through it and like doing the detox and like this one time thing doesn't actually do anything except
Right.
cause you frustration.
Yeah.
Right? Not sustainable.
So you mentioned that most of your clients are in their 50s. I
That's
would
right.
say that while I do have younger listeners, the bulk of mine are in that same area, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And you
Mhm.
talked about habits. We don't change a lot of our habits when we
That's
get
right.
in that group.
That's right.
So let me ask this question. I hope it doesn't throw us off too far. But what is one of the most annoying mainstream habits in health, whether it's a tip or habit or whatever, that is just straight up garbage that we cling to like it's gospel?
Go big or go home.
Really?
Go big or go home. Eat more is enough.
Okay, but eat well, move more. I mean, in a sense though, that should be true, right?
And there's nuance, and then there's context, and the answers in terms. So define moving more, define eating less. And for a lot of people that come to me, I actually have them eat more to lose weight.
Okay, well now that you say it that way, that makes sense because if you eat more healthy food, you can actually eat more food
That's right.
as opposed to a lot of the junk that fills you up fast, spits through the body, and then makes you hungry for more.
That's right.
Okay. So
Very different when you have to feed muscle and starve fat.
right.
It's a very different calculus.
Okay. Now, the go big or go home, now I'll be honest that I probably embodied some of that growing up, being the sports guy. That's what we were taught.
Right.
Go big or go home. You're in the gym. Push that weight, man. Come on, go big, go home. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are people misusing that when it comes to health and wellness, because I imagine that if we apply it to food, it's one way, but if we apply it to a lot of what you're trying to do is getting people to change their whole mindset. How does the go big or go home affect the mindset part of it?
So I promote consistency over intensity, and consistency is a relative term depending on the person that I'm speaking to. And so, what if you were 33% more rested? What if you had 33% less body fat? What if you had 33% more energy? Would that be worth your time? Yeah.
Well, that we should say yes.
Yeah. Okay. That equates to a 1% better course of 1 year. So if you want to weigh less, 33% less body fat, then it's just a 1% change. What change are you making to get that 1% less in body fat? If you want it to be 33% more rested, 33% less stressed, what does that 1% change actually look like day over day? It's about the consistency, not the intensity.
Okay, well, that goes against everything we're seeing on the social media, where take a pill and you'll be fitter, thinner, healthier in 30 days.
That's right. Magic pill solution doesn't exist.
GLP-1 does.
Yes, and it will lose the weight, but the first thing it targets is muscle mass.
I saw a couple of weeks ago, I actually did a couple of news stories where I forget if it was the FTC or somebody's going after those, specifically GLP-1, but a lot of those types of companies, because they're not doing what they are supposed to do.
There's no guardrails. There's no guardrails.
Um, have you done a bunch of study into that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
So let's look at what weight actually is, right? 1 pound of muscle weighs the same as 1 pound of fat. Now, what happens as you age is that there are actually two types of fat, and one of them shows up more predominantly in your blood work. And so, visceral fat, that's the fat that actually wraps around your organs.
That's the big bold belly fat that everybody talks about, right?
And so that'll show up as like elevated cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes. That's the fat that's like deep in your organs, right? And then there's the subcutaneous fat, that the fat's like directly under your skin. And so the GLP-1, when you take it, like we require a certain amount of amino acids or protein to actually feed muscle mass growth, right? Think of it like gasoline. The standard American diet is very carb heavy. Carbohydrates do not fuel lean muscle mass growth. So even though you may go to the gym, you don't actually have the gasoline to actually grow lean muscle. Most of the people that are on GLP-1s that have never actually like truly worked out in their life, or have the support for like what working out looks like in the stage of their life where they don't get hurt, right? They're not actually stressing the muscle so that it actually grows. Now, if you don't train muscle and you don't feed the muscle, you will lose as much as 2 to 3% of your muscle mass every year, 2 to 3%. Muscle is actually what creates is positively correlated to metabolism. So as your muscle mass goes down, your metabolism also goes down. And so let's say you didn't change your diet at all over like 10 years. And you're like, where did this belly come from? Like I haven't changed anything. But your body's needs have changed. Right. And so when our endocrine system ages, when our cardiovascular health ages, we need to do something to actually keep it up. So with men, and let's say like testosterone, it's very common for testosterone to go down, which means their lifestyle habits need to come online. Same thing with women in menopause. Estrogen goes down, lifestyle habits need to come back online to pick up where they left off. It's like a form of succession planning.
So 1% to start to get
Daily.
to 33% over the year.
That's right.
Now, for a listener, and what I've been telling everybody is, look, just find one thing.
That's
just
right.
Fix one thing to get started with. So in your judgment, education, advice, if somebody that was listening to the show had to pick one thing to deal with, whether it was, sleep, stress, food, or movement, and I don't know, for some reason I'm getting movement as the thing that needs to be done, what should they start with, and what's the bare minimum?
Start with what they're ready, willing, and able to look at. Right? What are they ready, willing, and able to look at? And so I can say stress, but you may not be ready, willing, and able to deal with it. I can say nutrition, but you may not be ready, willing, and able. I could say movement, and you can say, yeah, I can do that. So it really depends on your capacity and appetite for whatever lifestyle habit. And this is really where that, the connection and capacity audit comes in. Structurally, I'll tell you how you score across all those levers, and then you pick the one that you want to start paying attention to. Because my commitment is to have this fit into the margins of your life. And from a behavioral standpoint, you can really only look at maybe 2 to 3 habits at a time, right? And those habits need to be tiny enough that you're able to focus and pay attention to consistently. Average attention span in the United States right now, 8 seconds. So with all of the cognitive load that we have, you really think that you want to pay attention to something that feels like super hard and that you're not really ready, willing, and able to do?
Well, that's going to change because all the social medias are being sued, and they're going to have to change and stop their addictive social media platforms.
Right. That's the addiction loop, right? So that's why when you're in a relationship with the person that, you're seeking assistance from, right? That's called emotional resonance. And so someone's success is a function of how emotionally resonant they are in the relationship to the coach, to the healthcare provider, to the actual habit. How much are they emotionally motivated to interact and do the thing?
All right. Well, we said this was going to be a quick show, so let's go ahead and start wrapping up there. I think that's enough to start with for people to take that one habit, that one thing, and focus on that. Of course, they can start with the capacity and connection audit. Let me ask one last question, and it goes back to something that you said that stuck with me about the gentleman who turned what was it? No, he didn't turn. He turned walking minis into his health and performance hack.
That's right.
All right. Is that the weirdest one you've actually seen, or is there anybody who's
not even
had
close.
something? No, that's not the weirdest.
Not even close.
All right. Can you say what the weirdest was that actually worked?
I had one man that I was coaching virtually. He was 450 pounds, and he lost 200 pounds when I asked him to adopt a cat. And every day he had to send me videos of that.
Doesn't even make sense.
It was the connection.
Playing with the cat.
Mm-hmm. It was the connection. He had to care for the cat. He had to run around after the cat. He had meals with the cat. Connection is such a deep component of health. He wanted to take care of himself so that he could spend more time with the cat.
Okay.
I've helped 1,000 people lose 40,000 pounds over the last 10 years. I got some doozies.
Okay. Well, we'll need to dig deep in some of those. The cat, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Movement and stress.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, even though it's a short episode, we covered a lot today. Starting to talk about how to take your 168 hours per week. And I guess you can treat them like a dashboard.
100%. That's exactly what the capacity audit is.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Figure out what single habit can give you leverage across all the things we talked about. I know that I mentioned a few: sleep, stress, movement, energy, all of that. And I'm going to push this all back. All of that is going to lead you to your North Star, right?
You got it.
Diana, thank you very much. We will chat again soon, right?
I look forward to it.
Okay. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today. If this conversation stirred you into doing something, let me know, and be sure to check out Diana's link that we will have. We'd love to hear from you. And if you've started to define your North Star or made some small change that moved the needle, just send me a message on the platform, in the social medias. If you want to be private, you can stay private. But your story might help to shape a future episode with Diana. So thank you very much for tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourself, back up your health, and remember that you don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to start making better deposits into your future, one step at a time. We'll see you soon. Live healthy and be happy.